So you're probably wondering, Grant, why the hell do you have officer rank insignia on your collar and on your hat? Aren't you normally a Tech 5 or enlisted medic and stuff like that? Well, yes, normally I am, and that is going to be like most of the time. That's how it is. But for this video and for unofficial events that's not with the group I'm in, but just me and my friends hanging out, doing our own little World War II tacticals, which there's going to be videos coming out very soon next month of a cool tactical that's just like that. But that's not what we're talking about here. The reason I'm wearing these officer insignias is for the very first time I've set up my own battalion aid station. And so a battalion aid surgeon was, well, aid station was ran by a head surgeon or just an officer, right? Most of the time captain, sometimes lieutenants, but a normal setup, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there'd be a captain, one or two lieutenants, and then a bunch of just enlisted medics or stretcher bearers and stuff like that. And so I figured, I'm playing the part. This is my station. I'm going to be running my own station, and hopefully I'll have, some lower leadership that could be in charge of the medics and stuff like that for a unofficial tactical. But this video, I'm going to just give you a walkthrough, show you everything I got set up. Keep in mind, I'm still putting stuff together, so the field desk you're about to see, which you see a little bit right here, it's a large field desk. I believe the larger of the field desk issued, and this would be seen more at like a headquarters and stuff instead of an aid station. But it's what I have. I think it looks cool. I just want you guys to know that I'm aware it's not correct, so don't go bombard the comment section. But yeah, let's get into the tour. So the aid station is in my backyard, so it's just, I had free time today, so I decided to set it up in the backyard. So we're going to start off with this sign here that I made. It says aid station. Over here is the Lister bag with some stretchers holding it up. You'd also see it with poles, but sometimes, they just use spare stretchers. I mean, an aid station would normally have, I believe, 30 stretchers issued to it, if not more. So there'd be plenty of stretchers laying around. This Lister bag is just a canvas bag with little spigots like this, and you'd press the button down and the water would come out. And this would kind of be their water supply and hygiene area. So you'd have the communal cup. I have a canvas bucket here to kind of replace the little canvas water basin because I don't have one of those, but there'd be soap here, just stuff to keep good hygiene, stuff to wash, and be on a board, or in this case I have my captured table. This is a Lister bag. Most aid stations would have a Lister bag, if not all of them. It's just, depends on supply and stuff. And so this aid station is inside of a small wall tent, and just like, so you guys know, this is just the operating table, right? If it's a good day, we'd have this outside. If it's like today, I would have had it outside, but I kind of wanted to see how everything looks just all inside. And so the operating table we'd normally have outside, and then we'd have more stretchers on the ground, or maybe we'd have two of these little operating tables, so two guys could be worked on at a time. If not, that's why an aid station would have 30 medics to work on guys out in front of the aid station, and then leave all the really bad cases for the surgeon to work on inside of it. But on the outside of the aid station, we have a handmade Geneva flag. I actually sewed this myself, and this was just to show that, hey, not a threat, we are here to help, so please don't fire upon us. So I based this aid station off of a picture of a aid station display at a campus in the United States during the war, and they used a small wall tent, the exact, well, not exact same, but it's the same model as the one we see here. So, and I have a couple other pictures of just really small basic aid stations like this one that I base this off of, so it's not completely just completely made up, but yeah, so it's just a small wall tent, but outside the aid station. Now for real, we'll go inside. We have a cocoa and coffee unit. I actually made this. Well, I didn't make the box, but I did all the stenciling and stuff like that. So this box was given to me. I bought a MD chest from off Marketplace, and when I went and picked it up, they just gave me this, and it appears to be a Foot Locker that was just cut apart because like the sides look like a Foot Locker. I don't know. It's all but aid stations have their cocoa units and just have rations and cocoa supplies. Well, I made, you know, the cocoa coffee unit, so it has cups, stove, 2 percolators, coffee, cocoa, sugar, powdered milk, and a couple of rations down there. We'll actually get the rations out to show you guys. Partial dinner rations. But yeah, and they're full. They're edible in there. So that would be used for just like patient comfort or cold weather, just to keep patients warm. And of course, you know, you'd have blankets. I don't have a blanket bag. I didn't bring them out here because they're in my Foot Locker, but you'd get the idea. I'd have them probably strapped here with the litter straps. But like I said, this is the operating table. This is where, you know, you'd put your patient on, and then you'd work on them and then get them moving. Over here is kind of like the more supplies and office kind of setup. So we'll start with what's on the table here. So we have our map case, because keep in mind, you know, a medical officer is still an officer, so they kind of have all this duty and stuff. So they have maps, see, you know, troop movement and stuff, or like what's going on, what's like how far the front line is, or any important stuff like that. Map case for the map. I have one of my plasma bottles out. I was trying to figure out a way to hang it up from up there, but I was not successful. I have E8 field telephone, so in case I need a call. I got binoculars over there, the mallet for the stakes, and then we'll get into the supplies here. So in here we have medical equipment. We have another larger plasma bottle in the back. More medical equipment. Good majority of this stuff is reproduction that I made. Whoa, didn't see you there. Are you a new reenactor, or just like someone interested in military, trying to put together like a collection, or just like decoration and put around the house, if you're interested in that sort of thing? If so, you came to the right place. This is my shop, Grant's Field Supply. So if you come over here, I'll show you some stuff that I currently have in stock. So myself, normally portraying a medic, I like to have medical equipment. And as many of you guys might know, trying to find reproduction medical equipment can be hard. You have different, you know, shops already that sell them for crazy amount of prices. Like, for example, a morphine syringe carton like this one here. Some shops will try to sell this for $35. But here in Grant's Field Supply, we're selling the same product for only $15. Way cheaper than other places. And I feel like I do need to point out, it is just a box. There's no contents in here. Though, eventually, when I get enough buyers, that will become an option. If you want 5 reproduction syringes inside the carton, it will be a little bit more, but not as much as just other companies are selling just boxes for. Other stuff that's being sold, we'll jump over to office supply stuff. We have boxes of rubber bands. And again, just the box, nothing in there. You'll have to fill it up yourselves. We have period pencil boxes. Then for rations, we have this. And then the inside, we won't sell food, but we'll send the boxes for you guys to go and make. We have caramels. Won't include matches, that's just from last night. We'll have single pieces of gum, and then this ration that we used last night didn't include the sugar boxes, but that will also be included. Here's a picture of what the sugar box looks like. Then for labels, we have dehydrated plasma labels. We have postage labels for the medical department, and other labels that will soon be available on the store. Jumping back to medical stuff, we have aspirin boxes, blanket pins, small gauze bandage, large gauze bandage, large first aid kits. All of these just boxes. I can't express that enough. Small Carlisle bandage, wound tablets, foot powder, thermometer boxes, Then in storage here, we have more blanket pins, tourniquet box, sulfamilinide box, eye dressing, burn kits, triangle bandage, and more Carlisle bandages. All of this in my shop, Grantsfield Supply. Link in the description. If you guys want to get your hands on medical stuff, that's the place to do it for really good prices, and more stuff will be added each day. Still just getting everything all put together on that app. So right now, I believe there's only 4 items in stock, but there will be more to come. So that's my quick little announcement. Back to the video. And it's also mixed in with original items. So in this case, since I'm not using any of this stuff, I just have it all mixed together. But since it's but at an actual tactical, I'd have like people in here working with me, hopefully. So I'd leave all the original stuff out because I wouldn't want people to accidentally open, you know, original bandages and stuff like that. But most of it's reproduction, but some of it's original. And then in this drawer, I have surgical equipment, the surgical items. So cricothyrotomy catheters. They're just cricothyrotomy tubes. Correct term's catheter. So that's where I put. So we'll just dump that out. So this is what that looks like. It's just a emergency airway tube. So, but it's a pretty gnarly procedure for emergency airway stuff. And then just random surgical equipment scattered around. And then in here we have the medication. So we have little penicillin vials. There's nothing in here except water. Foot powder, sulfanilamide, aspirin, more sulfamilinide, more. We got ether. Unopened can of ether too. I found this at an antique store. It's actually post-war. The date's post-war, but they had the same kind of brand and logo around during the war. But like, listen to this. Still full. Just like crazy. It's only like 20 bucks too. It was awesome. So I have that there. Unopened can of ether and my medical supplies. And then there's more medical stuff, like I said. And then my yoke straps. And there's more miscellaneous medical stuff if I need to loan equipment. And then I have carton of plasma, my little wood holder of plasma. So we got 3 more like filled, like ready to go. And then we have my dehydrated stuff. It's just brown, like organic brown sugar cubes. So that's just, I saw a picture of an original jar of freeze-dried plasma, and this is what it looks like. Closest thing I found to what it's looking like. So that's what I have in there just for decoration, just something interesting. I have a Jeep first aid kit for whatever reason. Just thought, you know, that'd be fun to include in there. Just, you know, more medical stuff to include. And then for when the German shelling comes, I got my helmet. Yeah, so that's basically all for the medical equipment here. And, you know, that's just all I have for the aid station at this moment. But hopefully soon I'll have more stuff to make it a bit more interesting and entertaining. And hopefully I get more staff out here to help run it at a tactical. So that is the quick little walkthrough of the aid station here. So now that you kind of know the setup, what we're going to do is we're going to spend the night out here. And it's going to be good old time. We're just going to bring a cot in or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we're going to be spending the night in the aid station. It's going to be fun. It's going to be cool. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, since, you know, obviously we don't have any patients going through here, is we're going to do some hygiene, right? We got to keep proper and stuff like that. And then afterwards we're going to have our ration here. But you know, how they did during World War II. So we're going to get our musette bag here, and then we're going to get our shaving kit out, some private purchase shaving soap from the PX, and then our shaving kit with private purchase razor and shaving brush. So we're going to go to the Lister bag and get some water now. Alright, so now that we're at the Lister bag, we're going to take the communal cup as shown earlier, get a little wipe down, then we're going to use it. Communal cup, we're going to get some water. Alright, we got our water, and now we'll head back into the tent. Alright, so we have our water here. I'm going to clear up a bit of space here. Alright, so now we have it cleared. We're going to get bring all our stuff over here. We got us a nice little mirror. We'll just set that here for now, and we'll get the shaving soap ready. And we're using cold water, historically accurate. I mean, we're not going to bring out the heater for this. Heater's going to be saved to heat up coffee and stuff like that for our patients. So I'm going to use cold water. And there we go. Prop the mirror up to the best of my ability. There we go. Just put that in there for now. Let that soak a minute. Bring the cup a little bit closer now. Take our single edge razor, historically accurate. And there, we're all done. Looking pretty decent. Now I just need to get the haircut. But I'm gonna go clean this up now. Clean up my face because there's still the shit all over it. And yeah, so that's how they would have shaved in the field. Alright, so now that we're all cleaned up, we're gonna get into this ration here. So partial dinner unit. So there's not much in this. This is not like any of the other K rations. This is a really small, just like some companies would supply stuff. So this would be like just partial dinner unit, just have bare minimum, and they'd be supplied with other things like maybe like tomato soup from a company and stuff. That's not like, well, it's contracted by the military, but they'd just be sent in like how it was. Like, I can't think of any of the companies, but like tomato soup sent over. Here's a picture of, like I think Campbell, I don't know. But just sent over how it is, how you'd see in a store. And they would be paired with something like this. So this I made myself. And so inside we have match booklet, crackers, stick of gum, more yummy crackers, and caramel. And this is what would be inside most of the time. I see a couple of D bars, but I was not able to fit a D bar in there, so this is all I was able to fit. And then you'd get a separate little bat box, or sometimes a little bag, you know, plastic, bunch of stuff wrapped in plastic wrap of like toilet paper, cigarettes, sugars, coffee, lemon powder, stuff like that. But we don't have that, so this is what we're going to be dealing with. Crackers, caramels, and gum. And these are the rations. So we'll open up these crackers here. Once I figure out where I screw it, just tearing it open. They're just club crackers, but they work. Just crackers. But this is what they had. Even the K rations came just like basically what we just pulled out with a meat can, of like with a can of meat or eggs or whatever it was in there. And that was it. That's just crazy. I mean, like, it give you energy, but it wouldn't be too filling, that's for sure. And next up we have our more delightful, more flavorful crackers. And so you'd get issued 4 of these like more sweet crackers, and then 5 of the savory crackers. And yeah, so we'll get into this. We'll get into the more sweet crackers now. And like I said before, these are Biscoff. You could use graham crackers, Biscoffs, whatever. Biscoffs, we're gonna... I'm not gonna lie, I love Biscoffs so much. That was the more sweet one. Sweet set of crackers. Next up we have our caramels. And, nope, damn it. Our caramels here. Open them up. I really hot glued these pretty decently. Oh, there we go. So I just put like these hard caramel candies, these Werther's caramels. I believe they would have like the little soft, like little cube ones, but they would not fit in the box, so I had to go with these. I'm gonna reuse these, so well, the boxes and stuff, so I'm just gonna throw them back in here. And then we have our spearmint gum. I'm gonna save this for later though. And that was dinner. We'll just do some shenanigans. Wait for it to get dark. And yeah. Brought a lantern. It's been a while since I last used this, so we're gonna just do a quick little test. See if it will still work. And that's screwed. Alright, so after struggling trying to get this thing up because it's all gunked up and stuff, we finally have it lit and it works perfectly. It actually seems to be a little bit more brighter than usual, but we'll see until how true that is in a little while. But yeah, got it nice and burning. We'll let it sit for a couple more minutes and go from there. Alright, since it is already kind of dark in here and I already have trouble reading, we're going to actually use this light, a few minutes of light, to fill out a patient report. So, like in the last video of like just showing what medics carry and stuff, medics would have their emergency medical tags, and this is, and you'd write down, you know, patient's information, what's wrong with them and stuff like that. And so that's what we have here is a tag of a patient that came in. So in reality, this would have happened like while it was happening. You'd have your clerk typist like typing it all out, because this would stay with the patient to the next stage of medical evacuation. But for our sake, we're going to use this EMT tag and fill out this report. So this was like from like 3 years ago, so the date's like July 20th, so at one of our Fort Vancouver events. So we'll write that down, 7/20/1944. Location, Fort Vancouver, Washington. PT, the patient fell, fracturing his leg, landing on his rifle, shooting himself in the leg. Perfect. And so now we have patient report all filled out, and we will stash that away in our file area. Tuck that up there too. Alright, so I just closed it, so like it just like, oh, this is what it looks like closed. But closing up for the night. It doesn't seem that dark out right now, but it's a little too dark to do anything. I'm gonna open this up and then probably just hang out in there. I mean, there's really nothing to do. So yeah, we'll do one more update before you know, calling it a night. But that was the aid station. Hope you guys thought it was cool. And then tomorrow there's gonna be fun shenanigans. I ain't gonna tell you about it yet, but it's gonna be a surprise. But it's gonna be a fun time. Fun time. All right, so you know, forgot to give an update last night before going to bed. But you know, I'm out of my HBTs and stuff, and I have my tanker jacket on. But we are on our way to Portland for a military antique show. We're going to be meeting up with some of my reenactor buddies, and we're going to go and do some shenanigans there. So it's going to be fun. We're like 20 minutes out. Yeah, it's going to be a good old time. Alright, so this is the show. Got some helmets right there.
It's just one show. I go to
Alright, so we're back from that military show, and we're back in the aid station, as you could see. And before we end this video, I just thought it'd be cool to share the things that I picked up there. So what we have here is our original World War II German pony fur tornister. It's been restored, so it's like really nice. It's just missing the straps, but those are easy to replace. And it's just really cool. I've always wanted a pony fur tornister. These are just really cool in my opinion. I love these things. But inside is the other stuff that I picked up from the show, and other stuff that I bought from other friends. So we'll start off with this compartment here. I packed everything in here just for the sake of the video. So first item that I got is this cold winter cap. So I'm starting another, reenactment thing, joining another group, and it's a CCC, Civilian Conservation Corps. And I'm not going to go in depth with that because I'm still learning stuff, but it's just, during the Great Depression, the government offered jobs, in the CCC to work like just maintaining, forests and stuff like that. They built state parks, built trails, fire towers and stuff. And this is one of the hats that they were issued, was the U.S. Army cold weather hat. So I saw this and immediately snagged it up. It's a little big, but if it works, it works. I was able to talk the guy down from 40 to 30 on this one. So that was tough. That was cool. Now we'll just throw it over on the stretcher. The next thing was I bought these from a friend of mine. A friend that, is lucky and have a 3D printer. But 12 3D printed first aid tins. So I'm going to make a box, a carton they'd be sent in, and just store it in here with all these in. So yeah, it's going to be cool. 3D printed first aid tin. So they also work perfectly for fillers. So yeah, if anyone needs, events need to borrow a first aid kit, so it looks like they have a first aid kit, then there you go. We'll set these on the ground. I'm not going to throw them. Open this up. And then several more wool shirts, because you can never have enough wool shirts. So this is a, I believe, more earlier model, or I'm going to get mixed up, but also has a honorable discharge patch on it. Just, your M37 wool shirt. We'll set this over here as well. And then the next one is, I know for sure this is a later war one, because it has the gas flap. And a little bit more coarse wool too. But like I said, it has a gas flap here that you would button on the inside. And then the sleeves also have gas flaps as well. So it just help you protect yourself from chemical attacks, blister agents like mustard gas. And then, the pony fur tornister, of course. It's really soft. It is like genuine pony fur too. Really cool. And then the last thing is Another medical department blanket. This one's dated 1942. Bought this again off of a friend for $20. So I have two of those now, one from 1944 and the other 1942. So yeah, it's pretty cool. There wasn't much medical stuff there, and that was just a little bit sad, but I'm happy with what I got today. It's really cool stuff. Been looking for one of the later war wool shirts and finally got a tourniquet, and that's just really cool. I love tourniquets so much. I need to find straps for that because that might be like the new camping bag, you know. I could aura farm with that. But yeah, so that was, you know, the trip to Portland for the military show, and then on our way back we went to one of our favorite little towns. Me and my sister, she came with. She did all the filming for, like, you know, the car ride up and stuff, but we went to Aurora, which is one of our favorite little antique stores, and if you're in the area, highly recommend going to Aurora. That place is peak. But I found a cool period magazine, and that's just going to be my Foot Locker. It's going to be cool. Cool magazine showing my friends at events. I'm not going to bring it out here because not all of it is child friendly, but cool period magazine. But yeah, so unfortunately that's going to be the end of the video. Got to take down the aid station today because tomorrow's going to rain, and I don't really want to try to just lay this tent out in the covered area, let it dry, so it's going to have to come down today, which is sad because I like my tent. I like it being up. I think this is cool. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I know this is a lengthy, boring video of just me just hanging out and stuff like that. But it'd be a little bit more exciting if I had friends over and stuff, but it was just too late notice. I just thought we'll set up the wall tent, set up my aid station. But appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment if you have any questions, and yeah, thanks for watching.